Last Thursday, a woman paid me $500 to attend the funeral of someone I had never met. I should probably explain how that happened. I'm a broke college student, and I occasionally accept odd jobs online. Usually it's normal stuff: moving furniture, feeding someone's cat, pretending to be a customer during employee training. Then I received a message from a woman named Claire. She offered me $500 in cash to attend a funeral on Saturday. I didn't have to speak, carry anything, or pretend I knew the deceased. I only had to wear black, sit in the back row, and stay until the coffin was lowered. I asked why. She replied he was terrified nobody would come. That answer was sad enough to stop me from asking more questions. The funeral was held at a tiny church about an hour outside the city. There were only 11 people inside, and none of them looked like they wanted to be there. Nobody cried. Nobody spoke above a whisper. At the front was a closed coffin, surrounded by white flowers. There was no photograph of the deceased and no pamphlet with his name on it. Claire was waiting near the entrance. She looked younger than I expected, maybe 30, and wore sunglasses even though we were indoors. She handed me an envelope containing 5 crisp $100 bills. Then she grabbed my wrist. "Whatever happens," she whispered, "do not let them open the coffin." I laughed because I assumed she was making some kind of dark joke. Claire didn't laugh back. Before I could ask what she meant, an elderly man approached us. Claire immediately released my wrist and walked away without introducing me. The man stared at my face for several seconds. "You're early," he said. "I think you have me confused with someone else." His expression changed. Not surprise. Fear. He backed away from me and sat on the opposite side of the church. That was when I started considering whether $500 was really enough. The service began 10 minutes later. A priest walked to the front, opened a book, and started reading. He never said the dead man's name. He kept calling him our departed friend. Halfway through the service, my phone vibrated. The number was blocked. I silenced it. It immediately called again. The third time, I stepped outside and answered. For several seconds, I heard nothing but faint breathing. Then a man whispered, "Is the coffin still closed?" I looked through the church window. "Yes." "Keep it that way." "Who is this?" The line went dead. When I returned, every person in the church was staring at me. The priest had stopped speaking. Claire was gone. I sat down and pretended nothing had happened. After a long pause, the priest continued the service. Then we heard the first knock. It came from inside the coffin. 3 slow taps. Nobody screamed. That was the worst part. They had all been expecting it. The elderly man stood and said, "We have to confirm it." Claire suddenly appeared beside the coffin. I still don't know where she had been hiding. "No," she said. We agreed. A woman in the front row began crying, although she looked more angry than sad. He could still be alive. Claire shook her head. That isn't him anymore. The coffin knocked again. This time, my phone began ringing at the exact same moment. I pulled it from my pocket. The caller ID didn't show a block number anymore. It showed my full name. I answered without thinking. A voice inside the phone whispered, "I knew you'd come back." Then something inside the coffin started laughing. The people around me moved immediately. The elderly man locked the church doors. The priest pulled the curtains over the windows. 2 other people grabbed Claire while she screamed at me to run. Then they started dragging the coffin toward the altar. I demanded to know what was happening. The elderly man looked directly at me. "You genuinely don't remember us, do you?" I told him I had never seen any of them before. He reached into his jacket and handed me an old photograph. It showed 12 people standing outside the same church. 11 of them were the people currently surrounding me. The 12th person was me. The photograph had been taken in 1998. I wasn't born until 2004. I assumed it had been edited, but the person in the picture wasn't just someone who resembled me. He had the same scar above his eyebrow and the same crooked little finger. On the back, someone had written, "First burial unsuccessful." The coffin began shaking hard enough to knock over the flowers. Claire broke free and slapped the photograph out of my hand. "You weren't supposed to show him." "He has to know," the elderly man replied. "We're running out of time." Claire turned to me. She told me the man inside the coffin had died 28 years earlier. His name was Daniel. Daniel had been obsessed with the idea that memories could survive death. Before he died, he convinced 11 friends to perform a ritual during his funeral. They expected nothing to happen. 3 days after Daniel was buried, one of those friends disappeared. 9 months later, I was born. I told Claire that was impossible. My parents had pictures of my birth. I had a birth certificate. I had an entire childhood. Claire asked me one question. "Have you ever seen a photograph of your mother while she was pregnant?" I opened my mouth, but nothing came out. Because I hadn't. Every family album began with photographs of me as a newborn. The knocking stopped. A man's voice came clearly through the coffin. "Open it." It sounded exactly like me. The elderly man placed his hand on the lid. Claire begged him not to. He told her they had spent 28 years waiting for Daniel's memories to return. Apparently, I had shown no signs until the week before the funeral. That was when I had started dreaming about the church. I hadn't told anyone about those dreams. In them, I was trapped beneath the ground, scratching at wood while 11 people recited my name. The elderly man opened the coffin. There was no body inside. There was only a dirty black suit, a cracked wristwatch, and a phone. The phone was still connected to mine. I could hear myself breathing through its speaker. Then the church lights went out. Someone grabbed me in the darkness. People began shouting. The front doors opened, and I ran toward the daylight without looking back. Claire followed me outside, but she stopped at the edge of the church property. She said she couldn't go any farther. Before I drove away, she shouted one final thing. "Check the envelope." I didn't stop until I reached my apartment. The $500 was gone. In its place was a photograph of me sitting inside the coffin. It had been taken from directly above. I was wearing the dirty black suit and holding the cracked watch. On the back, written in my handwriting, were 6 words. "Second burial scheduled for next Saturday." That was 4 days ago. Since then, I've noticed something else. Every night at exactly 3:13, the cracked watch appears somewhere new in my apartment. Yesterday, it was beneath my pillow. This morning, it was fastened around my wrist. I threw it into the river 2 hours ago. It's currently ticking inside my desk drawer. Saturday is tomorrow. And a few minutes ago, Claire finally replied to my messages. She only sent me an address. It's my parents' house. Update. I called my mother and asked if she knew anyone named Daniel. She went completely silent. Then she asked me where I found the watch. I never mentioned a watch.